Welcome, everybody, to TSR tonight. I am flying solo for opening week, and Memphis will host Bethune-Cookman this Saturday. It's going to be great to have football back finally. It's been a while, so let's take a look at the depth chart that was released this week. Not not too many surprises to me. We all obviously Seth Hennigan. I mean, he's always going to be the QB1. Running back, Blake Watson, Sutton Smith, Jay Ducker. I had, my predictions a month ago when camp started. I had Ducker as being the second running back there, but still, I knew it was going to be these three wide receivers. Rock Taylor, looking for big things out of Rock Taylor this year. Demir Blankensee is starting at one wide receiver spot. Joe Skades is another. So, I mean, solid positions there. Anthony Lamphere, the coaching staff, speaks very highly of Lamphere. Is looking to continue that tight end tradition. Started with, Magnifico, then Sean Dykes, pre-scoring last year. So we'll see if Lamphere can step in those shoes and perform admirably. I think Memphis is going to need that tight end position to, obviously step up. I mean, it's vital to this offense, in my opinion. Left tackle, Pounders. If he can stay healthy, I think he's going to have a fantastic season. Young kid, redshirt sophomore, finally getting his time to shine. Jonah Gamble at the left tackle, we knew that. Center Jacob Likes, that was a given. Davion Carter, again, I think that was a given. But right tackle, that one is a little interesting because I had Henderson and McLean as fighting for that, and it looks like Xavier Hill won that battle. So, I mean, when you take a look at this offense, I think it's a high powered offense. It's something that Memphis fans can really take a look at and be like, this offense can be something special. I know total offense last year they were 39th, 422 yards per game. Rushing offense was 75th. I think that's where they absolutely have to improve. Because passing offense was, even though the wide receivers did drop a lot of balls last year, but the passing offense was 20th in the nation. And scoring offense was, I think, 22nd in the nation with 35 points per game. When you take a look at this offense, I think this offense could definitely beat last year's offense. So, especially, with the Bethune-Cookman coming up, it's, I don't think it's going to be a bloodbath like most folks, have predicted. I think Bethune has some players, and we'll get into Bethune-Cookman later with, their radio guy, Darryl Nattiel. So we'll talk to him in a minute. Let's get back to the depth chart. Let's take a look at the defense. And here's where, some surprises to me. I had Cromartie Hamilton starting at the defensive spot. And you notice William Whitlow is listed first, but it's an or. There's a lot of ors on this depth chart. But then again, it's the first, it's the first one released, first game of the season. So this obviously can all change. The biggest surprise, Jarrett Anderson, true freshman from Katy, Texas. I think he was the highest rated kid from last year, or from the recruiting class this past season that signed. So, I mean, big things. I thought he would get some playing time. Just did not expect him to be listed first at nose tackle. So we'll kind of see, how it shakes out. Defensive tackle Josh Ellison, transfer from Oklahoma. Hearing great things about him. I think he's going to be a force this year. Rambo Hunter, backing him up. See, I thought Hunter would slide over to the or Ellison slide over to the nose tackle position, and Rambo Hunter be the defensive tackle. But first depth chart, it's not that way. Buck position, the outside linebacker, Jalen Allen. He's going to be a force again this year. Very excited about him. The linebackers, Martin, Kenton, Arku, and Sincere Evans. We pretty much, we all knew that was going to happen. Davian Ross, that star position, that safety slash linebacker spot. That one sort of took me by surprise, and it's an or with Darius Coffey. Coffey has been around a while and just hasn't found a good spot, I guess, where he can get some playing time, and he may have found a spot right here because he's listed as an or, so he should definitely get some playing time. Saturday quarterback spot. Very surprised that Feaster is not listed as the starter. Even it's an or, so Diego Brumfeld. But once again, hearing a lot of good things. Heard he had a fantastic fall camp. Obviously, that's why he's listed first. The other corner, DJ Bell. I mean, he was a 3-star coming out of high school, and I know Memphis liked him coming out of high school, and obviously it's evident that he's listed first over Julian Barnett, the redshirt senior, who was a transfer from Michigan State. I had high hopes for Julian Barnett. It just hasn't come to fruition just yet. So we'll see. We'll see if this is the year he can really stand out. But DJ Bell gets the first name on the spot there. Safeties, Simeon Blair. We knew that, but don't forget about Joe Williams, because I think Joe Williams really had a come on strong last year at the end of the season. So he may get some playing time just in case Blair gets injured. You can move him around. In this case, the other safety, Greg Rubin, who moved from cornerback to safety, and Rubin's a fantastic talent. He can play anywhere in the secondary. So when you take a look at this defense, I think you got to be excited, because last year total defense 51st in the nation, and that was a big improvement, because I believe they were in the 80s or 90s the previous year. So going from that to 51st last year, I really think they can be a top 30, top 35 defense, best defense since Memphis defense anyway, since 2014, I believe, when Barry Odom was the defensive coordinator. The big question is, can they stop the pass? Because they were 89th, even though it was an improvement over the previous year. Still, they were 89th in the nation. To me, that's the question mark. Can they stop anybody from passing? And we'll see, this year. But you got to be excited. Coach Barnes being back for another season is just going to. I think he's just going to take this defense to sites that Memphis fans hasn't seen since that 2014 season. If you read my article, I have the 5 bold predictions. One of those predictions was about this Memphis defense, so definitely check it out. And if you're not a TSR subscriber, we can get your first year for $25. Use the promo code H100. That's for the Highland 100. We gave them a special promo. Well, now I'm using that special promo for any Memphis fans out there. So use if you're not signed up, go ahead and sign up and use the promo code H100. Going over to the special teams, not too much surprises here. I mean, it's pretty much what we thought. Reed Bauer is the punter. The field goal kicker, Seth Morgan, beat out Vandenberg. Vandenberg's the kickoff specialist. So, Seth Morgan, I believe, is a little bit more accurate than Tristan there. But to me, when you look at the depth chart, I mean, Memphis isn't young anymore. I mean, that's what you got to be excited about. The back-to-back best recruiting classes ever, which was in 2021 and 2022. Those kids they're on this 2D chart. They're littered. So look forward to seeing how they do this year. It's going to be, I think, a great year. And we'll talk to Darryl here in a little bit. But when you take a look at this matchup, I know BC, Bethune-Cookman is a FCS team, but they have some players. We'll talk to Darryl about it, but they have the transfer portal. So it affects everybody. And Bethune-Cookman is no different. They got some transfers. They have some FBS talent on their roster. Drew Beasley, Basil. He's a running back. He played at Washington State. I don't think he got much playing time over there, but I think he was a 3-star coming out of high school. He's a graduate transfer. Look for him to possibly be the starting running back. I mean, BC, they're replacing their quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. I mean, that is, and practically, I think they're all their offensive line as well, because the transfer portal, kind of hit them, pretty hard. So we'll see what the game entails. I think Bethune-Cookman has the players to. I don't want to say, I don't think it'll be a close game, because on paper Memphis is definitely the better team, but they're replacing the head coach. I've looked. Their roster. I mean, their depth chart hasn't dropped yet, so we don't know who the quarterback is. We don't know who the running back is, and they're replacing their top wide receiver who transferred to their rival, FAMU. And there's a lot of unknowns going into this game, but so you can't really take a look at their record and be like, oh, they were 2-9 last year. This should be a cakewalk for Memphis. Their offensive stats are not great, but again, it's going to be, there's new coaching staff, it's new enthusiasm, and that usually gives you a little bit of a bump. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this what this game entails. I think the Memphis fans will be loud and proud. So let's see what's what kicks off, man, because this is it's going to be exciting. So I'm going to take a break here real quick, and then we'll bring on Darryl and Nattiel from the CatEye Network. Is their network over there that does the radio and video. You can watch them on YouTube. So let's take a break real quick. We'll be right back with Tiger Snud.
Looking to get away from it all? Hey, it's John here with Tropical Getaways Travel. And when I'm not following the Tigers, I help families and groups have their next amazing vacation. Maybe you're looking for a cruise, or maybe it's an all-inclusive resort that you've been dreaming of. Either way, I can help you plan a vacation that fits your budget and your lifestyle. When you're ready to start planning that vacation, give me a call at 901-667-8747. That's 901-667-8747. Or you can visit my website at tropicalgetaways.net. Let's start planning your next amazing vacation.
And welcome back to TSR tonight. Our special guest is Darryl Nattiel. He is part of the radio network for Bethune-Cookman. Darryl, how you guys doing today, especially with that hurricane that came through?
Well, God blessed us this time. We didn't get a complete hit. Last year, 3 hurricanes interrupted the school year. The football team stayed on the road almost a month, traveling between Tennessee and Alabama, training at Vanderbilt. It was crazy last year, but this time, being on the East Coast, we got a little rain, and it just made the grass grow a little bit.
Now, let's tell folks about yourself a little bit. Didn't you play for Bethune?
I'm originally from Daytona Beach. I played football at Bethune-Cookman in the 70s, and I played baseball. And my senior year, I got pulled off the field and brought into the sports information office. I was the SID for 2 years, and then I broadcasted Wildcat football for 15 years. This is my first time back on the broadcast in about 10 years.
Nice. And tell us a little bit about, the history of Bethune-Cookman, because like I told you off air, when I was looking at the stats from 98 to 2019, BC had a great run with only 4 losing seasons, during that span. But then that COVID season hit, and it just hasn't been the same. Talk a little bit about BC's history and then that COVID season.
It's ironic you asked about the history. Saturday night will mark our 100th season, 100 years playing football on the HBCU level. And if you know a little bit about Mary McLeod Bethune and who she was and how she combined two institutes, Bethune-Cookman was an all-girls school. Bethune was an all-girls school. Cookman was an all-male school in Jacksonville. It was very much like IMG Academy over in Bradenton. So think about an IMG Academy combining with an all-girls school. So sports has always been a great part of Bethune-Cookman University. And like you said, in the early 2000s and even in the late 70s and 80s, we had great football teams. I think the years that Larry Little was coaching, Hall of Famer Larry Little coached a few years, and the program kind of slid a little bit, and we came back up. But in the 2000s, we had great football teams. But the COVID year and some budget cuts cost us a lot of football players, a lot of time in training. And then we moved to a new conference. We moved to the SWAC conference, which is much tougher than we were in the MEAC. And we're still recovering from that.
And talk about how the transfer portal has affected you guys. Just like I am assuming, just like everybody else, it can help and hurt at the same time. Especially when you take a look at when I look at last year, your quarterback, he went Jalen Jones transfer portal now is at Charlotte, and
you guys are going to see him later this season.
Yes, we'll see, definitely see him. Yeah. And I was very interested in the wide receiver Marcus Riley, who went to your guys' rival, right?
Yeah, what was crazy is the transfer portal, like you said, could be God sent and it could hurt you. But with the new coaching change, you got to understand something. Raymond Woody, our new coach, is a guru for recruiting. He coached at Florida State, Oregon. Matter of fact, he coached with one of you guys' coaches. Let's see who that was. Coach Blake, defensive back coach for Memphis.
Clark?
Coach Clark.
Coach Clark.
He coached Coach Clark at Oregon. And he also coached at FAU. So he's a guru for knowing talent. So what he did when he came in the spring, you understand the fiasco that we had with the hiring of Ed Reed. And we had a lot of kids that came in and a lot of kids that signed. But the transfer portal has brought the football team back up. Right now, I think we have 104 players on the roster. During the spring, we only had 4 offensive linemen.
Oh, wow.
Right now, we have 16. So the transfer portal has brought in some great talent. We got a young kid named Luke Sprague out of Nassau Community College. He led the JUCO in passing. We have a Tyleek Bethea. He led the MEAC in passing at Delaware State. We got a running back, Juju Basil, out of Washington State. We got a couple kids from Tennessee Tech, a couple kids from UConn. So we have some kids that have some D1 experience. But we'll be fielding 51 underclassmen on Saturday night, freshmen and sophomores.
So this year's team is a young team.
Young team. But what you're going to see a team that's smart, fast, physical, and aggressive. We're a Florida team. You got that speed, that UCF kind of speed,
And I think what helps too is the head coach. He was at FAU last year, who played against Memphis.
All right.
So I think that familiarity, is going to help Bethune-Cookman. Now, with if you could talk a little bit, because I was looking for the depth chart and I didn't see it released yet. So I was wondering who the starting quarterback was going to be. Is it Walter Simmons? Is he going to be the new QB1?
Well, Walter Simmons is transferred from East Carolina. He was on the roster last year, but right now it's a 3-way battle between Simmons, Bethea, and Sprague. I think Bethea has the edge right now, but you're going to see Sprague and Bethea on Saturday night. Also, I also noticed that Coach Tim was Cramsey, the offensive coordinator.
Yes.
We faced him in 2010 when he was at New Hampshire. In the playoff. We played him in the playoff. He blew us out 32-24. Great offense. Great offensive mind he has, too.
Nice. And, you mentioned the running back, Basil, from Washington State. Is he the inside track to be the main running back for you guys?
Yeah, we have a couple of kids. We got a kid named Lindsey. We have another kid that's his brother name is Jimmy Robinson II. His dad name is Jimmy Robinson I. His name is Jimmy Robinson III. Everybody in the family name is Jimmy Robinson.
Yeah.
Great speedster, small back can catch the ball out of the backfield. We have a 3-headed monster in the backfield.
Nice. And I think it's you talked about you guys are young. You're replacing the quarterback, running back, and receiver because your top receivers.
Okay, we lost Marcus Riley. Marcus Riley was a kid from Tallahassee. He went back home to play for the Florida A&M Rattlers. Actually, we got one of their DBs.
I was going to mention that, yeah.
Dubon. He'll be starting in the secondary. So Marcus Riley, all conference, great kid, but he saw the opportunity after everything that went down last season to go back home and play for the powerhouse Florida A&M Rattlers.
Yeah, and talk about that rivalry, that Florida Classic. Just how special is that for those two schools?
It's very, very special in that at one time, Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M are the largest HBCUs in the state of Florida, and most families mesh. My ex-wife was a FAMU lady. You know, you got so many people who are families, you know, that's meshed between the two schools. Mm-hmm. But when we meet in Orlando, when the Florida Classic first moved to Orlando, when I played, we played in Tampa Stadium, which is the same version of the Liberty Bowl, same stadium, just a little smaller.
Yeah.
But when we moved to Orlando and Disney took it over, we will have 72,000 fans there. And that game had a bunch of talent in it. You know, we had guys like Rasheem Mathis, who played for the Jacksonville Jaguars in that game. Nick Collins, who played for the Green Bay Packers. He's our defensive back coach now. You have a number of guys who went to the NFL from Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M in that time. That's a very, very strong rivalry. And a lot of times it meant the champion of the MEAC. Mm-hmm. Now we both are in the SWAC. So now, if you look at in baseball, Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman were in the championship game for the SWAC championship. So that game, always huge. It's almost like Florida State in Florida.
Yeah, no, it's huge. Now, I went to high school in Plant City in the mid '90s. Wasn't the Florida Classic? That was still in Tampa back then, wasn't it? Yeah, because I remember some of those games.
When I played in the Florida Classic, my last game was in '81 in Tampa. I think they played a few more years in Tampa. Then it moved to Orlando in the later '90s.
Okay.
Moved to Orlando to the Citrus Bowl, and I'm gonna tell you that's only 45 minutes from us. Mm-hmm. It's about a 4-hour drive from Tallahassee. But that game, the week before Thanksgiving, everybody put it on the calendar. Everybody goes to Disney. You got the two bands and the crowd. I mean, that's a big time major. It's like playing a major bowl game for us.
Yeah, no, I think that move to Orlando helped.
Here's another thing that people don't realize too. The Florida Classic is a business between the two schools. We own the Florida Classic.
Oh, that's nice.
Both schools own it.
And then I guess the money from that, it was what I guess split between both schools.
Yes.
So that helps you guys out a lot. Mm-hmm. Because I think, wasn't it like a $3 million contract with Disney, or it could be more?
At that time, it was a $3 million contract. Now it has changed so much with all the different sponsors. You got the ESPN, the ESPN Pluses, and the commercials, and it's much more lucrative now.
Yeah, and that game is still on the main ESPN, is it not?
It's on the. It had been on ESPNU for a couple of years too, but last season I think it was on ESPN Plus. We know the Plus got all the SWAC games now, so. Yeah, it'll be on Plus this year.
All right, when you guys travel to Memphis, what can Memphis fans expect? What type of offense and defense do you guys run?
That's the mystery.
New coach,
you
new
might
system.
see 11 personnel, you might see 13 personnel, you might see 23 personnel. That's the mystery because we practice in the Daytona Stadium. We don't even practice on campus. So a lot of people have not even had a chance to even see the team. We're building right now. We're almost finished with our on-campus practice facility, a turf field they're building right behind our training center, but our grass field, it wasn't up to par. So we practiced at the stadium, which is about 3 or 4 miles off campus. So a lot of people are saying, what are we going to see? I think you're going to see a wide open attack. We got a lot of speed in receiver. We got a kid named Tink Boyd, receiver from Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Look for him. Look for him to have a breakout game. We also have another kid, what's the kid name? Devino Ellington from Panama City. Great possession receiver with some speed. We also have a kid that we just got in from UConn, plays linebacker, named Shelton Quarles. His dad is director of player personnel for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's a great football player too.
Good deal.
Offense, we're going to be throwing it. I think we're going to be throwing. We have 2 6'6" quarterbacks, so we're going to be throwing the football.
And Memphis had a hard time stopping the pass last year, so I think this is going to be a great matchup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Now, what I think aren't you guys getting new uniforms? Or are you guys saving that for the home? Or are you gonna? Is that a little spoiler? Or are we gonna see something new?
All right. They had picture day the other day, and they just put out a flyer. I think they're gonna reveal the uniforms probably next week. But we always had great uniforms.
Oh yeah.
Then you get a coach who coached at Oregon, and we are a Nike school, so I think we have 7 different helmets.
Nice.
So you'll see a nice combination. But most of our fans like our colors, maroon and gold.
Mm-hmm.
We wear gray, we wear black, we even wore silver. So we have a number of different combinations. But a lot of fans have been crying to go back to the original color. So you may see us in a dark maroon or all gold.
Good deal. Well, Darryl, I appreciate your time. Tell folks where they can see you on social media and where to follow you.
My social media is on Facebook, Minister Darryl, MIN Darryl on Facebook, and the Locker Room Podcast. I have a podcast myself. Locker Room Podcast on Instagram and YouTube. You can find me there, and you can also find me on the CatEye Network every Saturday doing color.
Good deal. I appreciate your time, Darryl, and hopefully you guys have a good time on Saturday.
Thank you. I hope to see you up there.
Yep. Stay safe.
All righty. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We appreciate Darryl from Bethune-Cookman Radio.
Before we get out of here, let's think about this matchup. Give you a prediction. What I want to see. I want to see Memphis play mistake-free football. I know oftentimes last season there was just ill-timed mistakes, whether it be a fumble, interception, just mental mistakes, penalties. There's just ill-timed mishaps. And with Bethune-Cookman coming in, I really want to see just a mistake-free football game. Bethune-Cookman, they're going to be hungry. Anytime Memphis plays a Power 5, you get that excitement. They want to prove that they belong. Same thing with Bethune-Cookman. They're an FCS team. When they play, someone from the FBS, they want to prove they belong. They want to send a statement, so to speak. So, I'm expecting a lively game. But like I said earlier, on paper, Memphis is the better team. I think they will wear Bethune-Cookman down. But, I don't think this is going to be a shutout. I think Bethune-Cookman has the players to make it interesting early. Going into halftime, I maybe can see, Memphis leading by, 10 to 14 points. But in the end, I think Memphis has too much, talent on the roster. This is the type of game that I really want to see. I think we can see Tevin Carter, the backup quarterback for Memphis. I want to see him get some playing time. Let's throw up that, the depth chart, one more time. The folks that are second, or third in some cases here, this is what I want to see. I want to see Tevin Carter play some, because I think Seth Hennigan's going to have a fantastic game. Pass defense, is an issue. It wasn't that much of an issue for Bethune-Cookman last year. They were 56 in FCS, giving up 221 yards per game. But I think Seth Hennigan can find and exploit some holes in the Bethune-Cookman secondary. So I think Memphis will get out in the third quarter. With wearing down Bethune-Cookman, I think Memphis can really build a lead in that quarter. So going into the fourth quarter, Memphis is up, a good 3-4 touchdowns. I feel, that's why I feel I want to see these backups. I want to see more of Sutton Smith. I want to see more of Tevin Carter. I want to see Tevin Carter, not more of him because we haven't seen him at all. But like Kobe Drake, wide receiver, who came on strong last year. He had some, glimpses of some brilliance. And the backup offensive line, I think it's vital for them to get some playing time early because I don't think Memphis is going to go injury-free on the offensive line this year. I don't. There's going to be some folks that are dinged up and it's going to need some playing time. Royce White, he was highly sought after coming out of Georgia. He's backing up Jonah Gamble. I want to see what he can do. Cullen Montgomery, the Oklahoma transfer. Let's see what he can do as well. But first and foremost, you got to take care of the football. I think Memphis can pull away in the second half. As far as a score prediction, I'm going to first half. Let's say at halftime. To me, I think Memphis will be up something like 35-10. In the second half, I think that's just where Memphis pulls away. So I'm going to say final score: Memphis 56, Bethune-Cookman 21. So we'll see if my little prediction comes right. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN Plus. The play-by-play is going to be handled by Nate Gatter, and the analyst, homegrown Doc Holliday, is going to be the analyst for ESPN Plus. Hope everyone enjoys the game. It's finally here. Real excited. I wish it was tonight, but we still got a few more days. But appreciate everyone watching. Next week, I should have Larry back, so I don't have to fly solo. I think it's better when there's more than just me talking. So, but until then, hope everyone enjoys the game, and go Tigers, go.